The massive starship Celestial Horizon shuddered violently as asteroid fragments peppered its outer hull. Inside the navigation chamber, pilot Hyun-Ki Park worked with intense concentration, his hands dancing across holographic control panels. Alarms screamed their urgent warnings, red emergency lights casting harsh shadows across his determined face. Space had always been unpredictable, but this asteroid field was unlike anything Hyun-Ki had encountered in his 12 years of interstellar exploration. The unexpected cluster had appeared suddenly on the ship's scanning systems, giving him mere moments to react. Multiple collision warnings flashed simultaneously, transforming the calm exploration mission into a desperate fight for survival. Rerouting power to emergency shields. Hyun-Ki muttered to himself, his fingers moving with practiced precision. Sweat beaded on his forehead, trickling down his temples. The ship groaned under immense structural stress, metal panels creaking and shifting as devastating impacts continued. One particularly large asteroid fragment struck the portside engine, causing catastrophic damage. Electrical systems sparked and failed, plunging sections of the ship into darkness. Hyun-Ki knew immediate action was critical. With a series of rapid commands, he initiated emergency landing protocols, searching for the nearest planetary body that could potentially support human survival. A massive green world appeared on his navigation screen. Thick forests covered most of the planet's surface, interrupted by rocky mountain ranges and deep valleys. Atmospheric readings suggested breathable air, moderate temperatures, and potential water sources. It wasn't ideal, but it was their only chance. The Celestial Horizon began its uncontrolled descent, spinning and tumbling through the alien atmosphere. Heat shields glowed bright orange as friction built up around the falling spacecraft. Hyun-Ki's training kicked in, using minimal remaining power to stabilize their trajectory and reduce impact velocity. Inside the passenger compartment, emergency containment fields activated, protecting the small research team. They would be unconscious. During the landing, their specialized survival suits designed to withstand extreme conditions. Hyun-Ki remained awake, the sole conscious guardian responsible for their potential survival. Massive trees rushed toward the view screen. The ground came closer with terrifying speed. Hyun-Ki gripped the control systems, making micro-adjustments that could mean the difference between a survivable crash and total destruction. Impact was violent and sudden. Metal screamed as the ship tore through dense forest canopies. Trees snapped like matchsticks, branches exploding against reinforced hull sections. The Celestial Horizon carved a massive destructive path through the alien landscape, leaving a trail of broken vegetation and scorched earth. When everything finally stopped moving, an eerie silence descended. Hyun-Ki's breathing was labored. Blood trickled from a cut above his right eye. Emergency system diagnostics flickered weakly across damaged screens. Preliminary scans showed minimal life support capabilities, critical systems barely functioning. He unbuckled his safety harness, wincing from multiple bruises. The navigation chamber was a mess of twisted metal and broken electronics. Sparks occasionally erupted from damaged circuit panels, casting brief dramatic shadows. Checking his survival suit systems, Hyun-Ki confirmed basic functionality. Oxygen levels were stable. Exterior temperature readings showed a comfortable 22 degrees Celsius. Radiation levels were within acceptable ranges. Through the cracked view screen, an alien landscape revealed itself. Massive trees with iridescent bark towered overhead. Strange purple moss covered rocky ground. In the distant background, mountain ranges with unusual geometric shapes broke the horizon. Movement caught his attention. Something was watching him. Barely visible between thick tree trunks, shadowy figures stood motionless. Humanoid shapes, but definitely not human. Their forms were slightly shorter, with unusual proportional differences. Some held what appeared to be primitive spears or hunting tools. First contact was about to happen, whether he was prepared or not. Hyun-Ki checked his communication devices. Most were damaged, but the emergency beacon remained functional. A distress signal would eventually reach human exploration headquarters, assuming the device's limited power held out. For now, survival was the only mission that mattered. He gathered essential survival equipment, Medical kit, portable energy generator, multi-tool collection and emergency rations. Each item could mean the difference between life and death on this unknown world. The alien observers remained motionless, watching, waiting. Hyun-Ki moved cautiously through the alien forest, each step calculated and careful. Broken ship components crunched beneath his boots, leaving a clear trail of his movement. The strange purple moss seemed to shimmer with an almost liquid-like quality, absorbing his footprints almost instantly. The watching figures had not moved. Their stillness was unnerving, like living statues carved from the landscape itself. Hyun-Ki's survival training kicked in. He knew sudden movements could trigger potential hostility. Slowly he raised his hands, showing he carried no immediate threat. One of the figures stepped forward. A male, clearly a leader or warrior. His skin was a mottled blue-gray with intricate patterns that looked like natural camouflage. Muscles rippled beneath tight skin, suggesting a life of constant physical challenge. A complex necklace made of bones and strange metallic fragments hung around his neck. The alien's eyes were extraordinary, large, reflective, with multiple iris rings that seemed to shift color depending on how light touched them. They studied Hyun-Ki with an intelligence that went beyond simple animal observation. "I mean no harm," Hyun-Ki spoke softly, knowing they wouldn't understand his words but hoping his tone would communicate peaceful intentions. The leader, whom Hyun-Ki would later learn was named Coral, tilted his head. A series of complex clicking sounds emerged from his throat. Communication, but not in any human language. The other tribal members remained behind, gripping their spears with a mix of fear and curiosity. Hyun-Ki noticed something interesting. Their technological level appeared primitive, stone and bone tools, simple leather clothing. But their body language suggested advanced social structures. The way they communicated through subtle movements and minimal sounds indicated a complex cultural system. A young female warrior moved slightly forward. Her markings were different from the others, lighter blue with intricate white patterns running along her arms. She carried a spear made from a strange crystalline material that seemed to capture and reflect light in unusual ways. Coral made another series of clicks. The young warrior responded with a similar pattern, but with subtle variations. They were discussing him, Hyun-Ki realized, deciding whether he represented a threat or something else entirely. His survival suit's translation. Systems were damaged, but basic scanning functions remained active. Atmospheric readings continued to show stable conditions. No immediate toxic elements detected. The planet's ecosystem seemed surprisingly compatible with human biology. The tribe began to circle him slowly, not aggressively but methodically. Like researchers examining a new specimen, Hyun-Ki remained still, allowing their investigation. Any sudden movement could be interpreted as a threat. The young female warrior approached closer. She was less than 3 meters away now. Her spear remained pointed slightly downward, not a direct threat, but a clear warning. Her eyes studied every detail of Hyun-Ki's appearance. Something metallic on Hyun-Ki's belt suddenly caught sunlight. His emergency medical kit's reflective surface created a bright flash. Several tribe members immediately jumped back, raising their spears. But the young female warrior remained still. Coral made a complex series of sounds. A command, a question? Hyun-Ki couldn't tell. But the tribe's reaction was immediate and synchronized. They respected their leader's communication. The forest around them was alive with subtle sounds. Strange bird-like creatures called from distant tree branches. Small creatures rustled in the undergrowth. The ecosystem was complex, vibrant, completely alien yet strangely familiar. Hyun-Ki knew his next actions would be critical. First contact scenarios were delicate. One wrong move could transform potential peaceful interaction into immediate conflict. His training had prepared him for multiple first contact situations, but this felt different. These weren't just primitives. They were a society, a culture, with their own complex communication and social structures. The young female warrior took another step forward. Her spear remained down, but her posture suggested readiness. Her eyes, those extraordinary multi-ringed eyes, continued to study Hyun-Ki with an intensity that felt almost like communication. First, Contact had begun. The small portable fusion generator hummed to life in Hyun-Ki's hands, casting an ethereal blue light across the tribal gathering. Surrounding forest creatures went silent. The tribe's warriors stepped back, mouths open in pure astonishment. Koral, the tribal leader, dropped to his knees first. Others followed immediately, creating a ripple of prostration. They believed something extraordinary was happening, a divine manifestation beyond their comprehension. Hyun-Ki realized his technological actions were being interpreted as supernatural powers. When he activated his medical kit's healing interface to treat a wounded warrior's deep cut, the reaction was even more dramatic. Soft blue light emerged, tissue knitting together instantly. The injured warrior stared at his healed wound with religious terror. "This is just advanced medical technology," Hyun-Ki muttered to himself, knowing no one would understand. The young female warrior, whom he learned was named Terra, watched with a mixture of fear and intense curiosity. Her eyes tracked every movement, every technological gesture. While others trembled, she seemed more analytical, more willing to understand. Koral approached Hyun-Ki, moving with ritualistic slowness. He carried a bone-carved staff decorated with strange feathers and metallic fragments. Each step seemed calculated, almost like a ceremonial dance. The tribal elder began a complex series of vocal sounds and hand gestures. Though Hyun-Ki couldn't understand the language, the tone suggested reverence, worship. The tribe clearly saw him as something more than a mere visitor. Hyun-Ki's survival suit had limited translation capabilities. Basic environmental scanning worked, but complex linguistic interpretation was damaged during the crash. He would have to rely on universal communication methods, gestures, facial expressions, demonstrative actions. That evening, he started a small portable heating unit. The blue-white flame shocked the tribe. Some warriors covered their children's eyes, believing they were witnessing a sacred ritual. Others prostrated themselves, touching the ground with their foreheads. Terror remained different. She watched carefully, her analytical gaze never leaving Hyun-Ki's technological demonstrations. While others saw magic, she seemed to sense underlying mechanical principles. A hunting party returned with a large animal, something resembling a cross between an earth deer and a rhinoceros. The creature was massive, weighing several hundred kilograms. The warriors looked exhausted, several nursing minor injuries. Hyun-Ki approached the wounded hunters. Using his medical kit, he treated their cuts and bruises efficiently. The blue healing light mesmerized them. What would take days of natural healing happened in moments. Koral interpreted these actions as clear proof of divine intervention. He began an elaborate ritual, burning strange herbs and chanting. The tribe watched Hyun-Ki with a combination of terror and profound respect. Technological demonstrations continued to shock them. A simple water purification tablet transformed muddy river water into crystal-clear liquid. A small solar charger generated electricity from sunlight. Each action reinforced their growing mythology about this strange visitor. Terra began asking silent questions through careful observation. She would touch Hyun-Ki's equipment when he wasn't looking, trying to understand its mechanics. Her curiosity seemed different from the others' religious fear. As night fell, the tribe prepared a massive feast. Hyun-Ki was placed in a position of honor, the central location around their massive bonfire. Exotic meats, strange fruits, and ritual foods were offered to him like sacrificial gifts. The forest around them buzzed with nighttime sounds. Bioluminescent insects created beautiful light patterns. Strange bird-like creatures called from distant trees. The alien ecosystem felt both threatening and mesmerizing. Hyun-Ki understood he was walking a delicate line. His actions could dramatically influence this primitive society. Every technological demonstration, every medical intervention, could potentially change their cultural development. Koral continued his ritualistic chants. The tribe watched their divine messenger with a mixture of fear, respect, and absolute devotion. Terra remained the only one showing genuine scientific curiosity. First contact had transformed into something entirely unexpected, a potential mythology in the making. Weeks passed on the alien world. Hyun-Ki became more than just a visitor. He was becoming a catalyst for change. The tribe's traditional ways began shifting, driven by his subtle technological introductions. Terra proved to be his most valuable ally. While other tribal members saw magic, she saw potential. She would watch carefully as Hyun-Ki demonstrated agricultural techniques, her sharp mind quickly understanding complex concepts. During planting season, Hyun-Ki introduced improved crop rotation methods. Using simple diagrams drawn in the dirt, he showed how alternating plant types could improve soil nutrition. The tribe's young warriors gathered around, fascinated by these strange new ideas. Corral initially resisted change. The tribal elder watched suspiciously as younger members began questioning traditional practices. But even he couldn't ignore the improvements. Crop yields increased, hunting became more efficient. Their entire survival strategy transformed. One morning, Hyun-Ki demonstrated a simple water filtration technique. Using local materials, specific clay types, charcoal from their fires, and woven plant fibers, he created a water purification system. The tribe watched in amazement as muddy water became crystal clear. Young warriors like Darren became particularly enthusiastic. They saw these technological insights as a path to progress. Hunting tools improved. Agricultural techniques became more sophisticated. The tribe's entire technological understanding began expanding rapidly. Tensions grew between progressive and conservative tribal factions. Older members feared these changes would destroy their traditional way of life. Younger warriors saw opportunity and potential for growth. Terra became Hyun-Ki's primary student and translator. She learned to bridge the gap between traditional tribal knowledge and new technological concepts. Her intelligence was remarkable. She could take complex ideas and break them down into understandable components for her people. Hunting techniques transformed first. Hyun-Ki showed them how to create more effective traps, how to track animals more efficiently, how to preserve meat for longer periods. Simple mechanical principles became game-changing innovations for the tribe. The tribe's metalworking improved dramatically. Using basic principles Hyun-Ki demonstrated, they began creating more sophisticated tools. Simple copper extraction techniques led to better weapons, improved agricultural implements, and more complex construction methods. Corral watched these changes with a mixture of fear and grudging respect. The tribe's survival capabilities were increasing exponentially. What would have taken generations now happened in weeks. Cultural conflicts became more pronounced. Older tribal members saw these changes as a threat to their traditional ways. Younger warriors saw them as a path to a better future. Heated discussions became common around evening fires. Hyun-Ki remained careful. He understood the delicate nature of technological transfer. Each demonstration was calculated, designed to improve survival without completely destroying their existing cultural framework. Terra became his primary advocate. She could explain new concepts in ways the tribe could understand. Her ability to translate technological principles into their cultural context was remarkable. The forest around them continued to be a challenging environment. Dangerous predators, unpredictable weather patterns, seasonal changes that could mean life or death. The tribe's improving technologies gave them increasing control over their harsh world. One evening, during a massive thunderstorm, Hyun-Ki helped them construct more robust shelters. Using principles of structural engineering, he showed them how to create buildings that could withstand extreme weather conditions. Daran, one of the most enthusiastic young warriors, began creating detailed drawings of these new techniques. A primitive form of technological documentation was emerging. The tribe was not just learning, they were beginning to understand and innovate. Coral's resistance began to weaken. As improvements became more evident, even the most conservative tribal members couldn't ignore the benefits. Survival became easier. Food became more plentiful. Their entire society was transforming. The cultural bridge was complex. Each technological introduction was carefully balanced with respect for existing tribal traditions. Hyun-Ki knew he was walking a delicate line between improvement and cultural preservation. As weeks turned into months, the tribe began to see Hyun-Ki not just as a divine messenger, but as a teacher, someone who brought knowledge, someone who helped them understand their world in entirely new ways. The distant hum of a rescue shuttle broke the alien forest's natural sounds. Hyun-Ki stood beside Coral, watching the sky. Months of technological transfer had transformed the tribe from a primitive society to a rapidly developing civilization. Terra approached first, her eyes reflecting a mixture of understanding and profound sadness. She knew what the distant sound meant: departure, separation, the end of something extraordinary. Young warriors gathered around. Daran, once a simple hunter, now carried complex metal tools he had learned to create. His spear was no longer just a weapon. It was a symbol of their technological evolution. Intricate metalwork decorated its handle, showing techniques Hyun-Ki had subtly introduced. Coral performed a traditional farewell ritual, burning strange herbs, chanting in their complex language, tears mixed with ritual paint on his weathered face. He understood that everything was about to change. The tribe's technological advancement was remarkable. What would have taken generations happened in mere months. Agricultural systems improved. Metalworking became sophisticated. Their understanding of environmental management transformed completely. Rescue signals continued. The human recovery team was close. Hyun-Ki's communication device confirmed coordinates, transmission strength growing stronger with each passing minute. Terra stepped forward, presenting a gift: a complex metalwork necklace, combining traditional tribal design with new, technological understanding. Each piece told a story of their transformation. Her eyes spoke more than words ever could. "You changed everything," she said in broken human language, a phrase she had carefully learned during their time together. Hyun-Ki knew his decision was critical: return to human civilization or remain with the tribe he had inadvertently transformed. The rescue team would expect a full report, scientific documentation of first contact. Young warriors prepared a massive celebration: exotic meats roasted, strange fruits decorated communal areas. Their technological improvements were evident everywhere. Improved cooking methods, better food preservation techniques, more efficient preparation systems. The shuttle's distant sound grew louder, metal gleaming against the alien sky. A symbol of human technological progress approaching this transformed tribal world. Coral began a complex goodbye ceremony. Tribal members gathered, creating intricate formations. Their movement was synchronized, reflecting the advanced social structures that had emerged during Hyun-Ki's stay. Daran approached with a new set of metal tools. Each one represented a lesson learned: agricultural implements, hunting technologies, construction techniques. Their entire world had changed. Terra remained closest to Hyun-Ki. Her analytical mind understood the broader implications. This wasn't just a technological transfer, it was a complete cultural transformation. The rescue shuttle began its descent. Massive engines created wind patterns that bent alien forest trees. Dust and vegetation swirled in complex patterns. Hyun-Ki's survival suit detected multiple technological changes in the tribe. Agricultural efficiency increased by 300%. Metallurgical understanding improved dramatically. Their entire societal structure had become more complex, more adaptive. Coral's farewell ritual reached its climax. Chanting, dancing, burning herbs creating strange, swirling smoke patterns. The tribe's emotional connection was profound. Terra handed Hyun-Ki a final gift: a complex metalwork representation of their journey. Each piece told a story of technological and cultural transformation. The shuttle touched down. Rescue team members prepared to emerge. Their technological scanning systems would soon analyze everything. Hyun-Ki looked at the tribe, at Coral, at Terra, at Daran, at all the young warriors who had learned, who had grown, who had transformed. One decision remained: return to human civilization or stay with the civilization he had helped create. The alien forest waited. The tribe watched. The rescue shuttle's door began to open. Everything hung in perfect, beautiful balance.